Welcome to E-commerce Revamped, where we break down the hottest trends, insider tips, and strategies shaping the future of e-commerce. Powered by Miva, the engine behind seamless online stores. Now here's your host, Rob Stanley.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of E-commerce Revamped. I'm Rob Stanley, your host, and we got a great one today. So this guy's kind of known in the e-commerce and Amazon world as the man with the sunshades, man. He always has sunglasses on. I've kind of known for the money suit. This guy's known for the sunglasses. So if you know who that is, then you know who I'm talking about. But before I give you out that name, we're going to be talking today about how to grow your brand without Amazon dependency, basically how to grow outside of Amazon. So a lot of people are focused on the Amazon industry, but there's a lot more out there and a lot more ways that you can make a lot more money and not have to depend on Amazon. So let's bring into the studio my good friend, Vincenzo. What's up, brother?
Hey Rob, thank you so much for having me. How you doing?
Great to see you. Great to see you. I don't
I'm
have my
missing my
sunglasses
sunnies.
on. I'm missing my money man sunglasses. That's right. That's right. Well, listen, Vincenzo, it's great to have you on finally. We kind of had a little scheduling issue and get this going. But, why don't we kick this off with, what kind of strategies can people use to reduce their dependency on Amazon?
Yeah, of course. So I will say, first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity. Pleasure to be here. I always admire all the content that you put out there, and it's definitely great to be here once more. So, hopefully some of the strategies I'm going to be sharing with you guys today is to figure out how we can stop that dependency on Amazon. Like we know that, of course, Amazon is the biggest marketplace when it comes to launching your brand, when it comes to e-commerce. But the reality is that at the same time, you lose a lot of control over your consumers, over your brand. The fees are getting higher and higher. Competition is getting more fierce than ever. So if you don't diversify yourself, we have seen that happening multiple times. One day you can wake up, your Amazon account is suspended, and then you pretty much have no business. So that's why having on a D2C operation is definitely something I advise all my clients to go for, because that's definitely going to be the only way that long term you can build a brand. And of course, solutions such as Miva are the best way to go, because not only allows you to seamlessly integrate all this technology in one place, but also allow you to, jump to one of the main obstacles when it comes to launching your D2C platform, which is figuring out, okay, how I'm gonna come up with the best template for my website, what kind of apps I'm gonna have in it, how do I make it faster, all these kind of things. At the end of the day, you want to leave to experts such as Miva while you focus on things that really matter, which is the branding. Now, the strategy. I would say the strategy I go for first of all is the D2C side of things, because the thing that I want to allow myself to focus on when it comes to building a brand outside of Amazon is creating essentially an asset, and that asset is owning the consumer. And by having a D2C presence, now what you're going to be able to achieve is captivate all this information around the potential avatar. In this case, clients are going to buy from you. This means all the information around things such as the email address, phone number, if possible, information around maybe things that will define the type of person that's buying from you. And this is going to be key not only to re-engage and retargeting through strategies such as email marketing and through strategies on your website such as pop-up discounts and things like that, but also the way you effectively customize and tailor the creatives that you're going to use not only on social media, but also the advertising that you're going to run effectively to run traffic to your D2C website. So I would say that's the first strategy. Then, of course, I'm going to cover social commerce and all of that. But I would say the first thing I would put my eggs into in terms of investment would be, once I jump out of Amazon, I need to figure out how I build my D2C storefront, how I make sure I tailor that toward effectively my perfect consumer, in this case, the avatar I'm going for, and how I create an ecosystem around it to effectively drive traffic to this D2C presence to maximize my exposure outside of Amazon. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I think you hit that right on the nose as the best one, the best strategy to start with for sure. Vincenzo, some people are going to ask, like, maybe they're really heavy into Amazon, that's their whole world and everything. But, they're going to probably ask, like, how effective is it to go outside of the Amazon atmosphere and or space and start a DTC? Like, how effective is it? Because if they're getting tons of sales on Amazon, They're maybe it's going to take them a while to kind of ramp up on the direct to consumer D2C side.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I would say sometimes D2C is not the best way to get started from scratch. Like, let's say you have nothing, like you haven't made your first sale or anything. Usually, D2C maybe is not the ideal place to start for the mere fact that at the end of the day, when you're getting started, usually the thing you're going to encounter the most that is really challenging is the mindset of actually running a business in the first place. And the reason why I want to quickly mention this is because when you start on a D2C, usually you don't have the instant gratification that you might get out of Amazon in terms of getting your initial sales, getting data very fast, which keeps you keeps you motivated. D2C is slower to get the ball rolling and also more expensive. And if you're getting started for the first time with a business and you are already encountering that huge mountain of obstacles and things that are sometimes complex to figure out, a lot of people might give up a very fast road journey of entrepreneurship. So that's why usually Amazon is where I see you can get the ball rolling the fastest in terms of seeing some activity, seeing some sales, understanding what is e-commerce in the first place, see if the concept first of all is actually working, because Amazon is going to give you very quick answer if people love or not the product, because the reviews and how the sales velocity happen. But once you actually want to build a brand, you don't want to be dependent on Amazon, right? You want to grow the brand outside of Amazon, because Amazon is very good to get those sales, give you the traffic, conversion is very high. But once you get the ball rolling and you have some substantial amount of cash flow that allow you to invest outside of Amazon, that's where I will go and build my D2C. And I will say, to conclude this idea, to them for you to ask more questions about this, another important thing you have to consider is that definitely when you do the jump to D2C, going back to what I just mentioned, you have to shift completely the mindset, because you're going to jump from an ecosystem where, specifically on Amazon, conversions tend to be 10 to 20% on average, compared to a website that you have 3 to 5%. You are one of the top performers when it comes to converting people that go to a D2C site, right? So the conversion is much lower. The traffic to get the attention to your website is going to be more difficult, so you have to be more creative with the ads that you do, the way you do the position of your brand, the way you run deals. And the third thing as well with a website, which is not the case with Amazon, is like as soon as you kill the traffic to the website from the perspective of ACO, ads, or influencer marketing, it's not like Amazon that potentially some organic exposure could get you going, and Amazon will keep giving you traffic. Like your website, everything's relying 100% on you. So responsibility is higher. But at the same time, because I see that all the time with the clients that we help and support, when it comes to exiting the business and actually getting the payday out of your hard work, having a D2C presence what really is going to give you the best kind of outcome in the exit, right? Because if your brand is heavily reliant only on Amazon, we see all the time your multiples are going to be so much lower compared to D2C, where you own the customer. And that's something that people really value. And that's really where the asset of owning a brand lays down. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I was actually in a room with a bunch of Miva sellers, and the subject of Amazon came up. And I was telling them, I've lived both sides. I've been in the Amazon world, I've been in the Miva space. And I was like, you guys have it good. Like building a brand off of Amazon first and building it up and driving all that traffic and getting those lists and those newsletters and getting, all the sales going. That's huge. Like it's easier in my opinion, and you can answer this if you'd like, Vincenzo, but in my opinion, going from building your brand outside of Amazon and then deciding to sell on Amazon, that's an easier transition than going from Amazon to sell outside of it. Now, it's required. Well, I shouldn't say it's required. You're going to want to build also outside of Amazon, because we've seen so many issues with like trademark infringements, and they pull your entire listing and then you have no money coming in. But why don't you kind of address that?
Yeah, it's funny. I have this conversation all the time with a Shopify or Miva or all the different solutions out there, or people just build their own website a solution that they want to jump to, to Amazon. And they come to me and they're very concerned, like, oh, I don't know if Amazon could be a good solution for me, because I'm doing very well with my website. I'm getting a ton of traffic. My conversion is very good. And they say, but how do I know if Amazon is going to work? And my straight answer to them is like, doing, which is building a brand outside of a marketplace such as Amazon that gives you the traffic and essentially things from a perspective so much easier in terms of scaling a brand, because Amazon make it very easy even from a logistical point of view. So if you manage to win having your own website, like your own Miva D2C presence, like you're already doing so much better than most Amazon side, because in fact most Amazon sellers, when they fail, is when they realize they're heavily dependent on Amazon. They try to do the jump, and because they never actually figure out how to build a brand, they don't know how it's actually proper branding in terms of re-engaging with the customer experience, things that actually you need to survive. So Amazon, that's where they fail. But you already have such a strong foundation doing the heavy lifting of the most difficult thing on a brand, that when you jump to Amazon, your journey is going to be so easy, not only because you actually have built a proper brand, but the other thing that most people don't know is that when you have done a very good job by building a brand outside of Amazon, most likely people is already searching for you on Amazon, and you're gonna find most likely that once you start jumping on Amazon, your brand already has search volume. That means people is already looking and searching for your products on Amazon, but most likely there's not an offer fulfilling that need. And you jump into Amazon, you're gonna fulfill a need that is already there on the platform. So it's pretty much money that you're leaving on the table. And the second thing you have to consider as a brand that is outside of Amazon is that I understand that you want to have full control of the customer and have a unique experience through your website. But the reality is, some people, even if they're already loyal to your brand, they like convenience. They like same day delivery. They like the fact that I can be on my Amazon app and have a checkout that is like within seconds with buy now. I have subscribe and save. I have my credit card. I have all my information that sometimes on a website takes longer. There's a lot more friction. So the fact that your customer buy you through Amazon doesn't always need that they're not being effectively loyal to your brand. It just means convenience, and it's an extra channel that you're giving your opportunity to potential client to keep buying your products. So that's why if you're very successful outside of Amazon, I think not being on Amazon is actually a bigger mistake than being on Amazon and not trying to go outside of Amazon, because it's pretty much money that most likely you already have there, guaranteed, based on the example I gave you. And not being on Amazon, you're just chopping a big amount of opportunity in terms of traffic that now could become your clients are just not satisfying with your offerings. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit that right on the nose. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, but before we hop off, I appreciate everything you talked about there, and we're going to focus a little more after the break on, now that you've transitioned to a D2C and you're off Amazon. Not that you're off Amazon, but you're doing both. But now that you transitioned over and starting to build up your D2C, what role does social media play when it comes to having a D2C brand? And we're going to talk about that right after this commercial break.
Ready to revamp your online store? Miva's e-commerce platform offers powerful tools and flexible solutions that grow with your business. From design to checkout, Miva has you covered. Don't just sell, stand out. Check out miva.com/podcast to start building your dream store today.
Yeah, so be sure to head on over to miva.com/podcast. We have a bunch of free downloadables, a bunch of tips on things we're talking about actually right now on how to transition D2C. And but right before the break, though, I was mentioning to Vincenzo that now that you transitioned over to having you have your Amazon store, now you have your off Amazon store, like a D2C brand, whether it's on Miva or a different platform. What is the importance of, basically social media when it comes to having a D2C brand, Vincenzo?
Yeah, so I would say, going back to the initial point of the complexity of having your D2C presence, is that if you effectively don't drive traffic to your D2C site, nobody's gonna do. It's not like Amazon that you can put a listing, and sometimes even on Amazon now, without advertising, you're realistically not getting any traffic. But there's still some unicorn cases, or if you are the only one on the category, that Amazon will pretty much give you organic traffic, and you still get away with that. But with a D2C site, that's definitely not the case anymore. So that's why social media is a key element. Why? Because effectively what you're trying to do with social media, you try to essentially look for people that is potentially scrolling on Facebook, on Instagram, and TikTok. They're having most likely showing through their search behaviors a specific interest towards, let's say, pets, right? And let's say you have a pet relatable brand, like you sell dog toys. Therefore, you want to look for people who watches dog relatable videos or things along those lines, and you want to show your ads to effectively show how you're not offering this unique toy, this unique technology. You try to make them click on the advertising and drive people to your website, and that's usually one of the biggest sources of traffic generations and revenue for D2C brands. It's effectively trying to capture the attention of people in social media to come to your website and make a purchase. Now, how this becomes even more powerful when we combine this effect, but with influencers, because at the end of the day, as I've already mentioned before, Amazon, one of the reasons why it's so strong at the end of the day is also trust a lot of times, because even myself, sometimes I have found better deals, better products outside of Amazon, but because I maybe feel uncomfortable or I don't trust their website, I have never experienced a transaction on their website. I say I rather pay $20 more, but I know Amazon is gonna give me a refund. It's gonna be same day delivery. And all the trust that the website gives you, Amazon, compared to a D2C site that you know. But when you add influencer power to this formulation of driving traffic, if that influencer has created a deep link with the follower, in this case the potential client, that's where a lot of the friction goes away. Because if the influencer I trust for the things I buy from my dog keep saying this is definitely a toy you have to purchase because of this material, because of this certification, all of that, and on top of that, the influencer really creates engaging videos about the product being used by his dog, and then he put even a link to the website and shows the partnership he has with this brand. That's where a lot of these headaches I already mentioned that people will essentially use as an excuse to go to Amazon go away, and they're gonna go and effectively make a purchase on your website. So that's why, to conclude, social media is key because it's gonna allow you to bring that initial traffic to generate that engagement at the website level and transform it into your loyal fans. But then by also bringing those influencers into the mix, especially influencers that are very good and engaging with the audience, they're gonna remove that part of the formula that usually makes traffic fail, which is friction. And therefore, over time, if you do that correctly, that's what it's going to create the snowball effect of within your brand. Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the fact that you brought up the whole thing on like shipping and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
that is one thing that when you're starting a D2C or get your D2C going, you need to be crystal clear on the shipping. What
Yeah.
is it going to cost? Is it free? Personally, I always went free because people want to see that free. Now they could upgrade to a faster shipping,
Yeah.
but you always had at least a free shipping because sometimes I'll buy a product and I'll be like, if I don't need it quickly, I'll look for the best price, right?
Exactly.
Where's the best
Yeah.
price? But
Mm.
and one thing if people aren't aware of, Miva actually uses Amazon checkout process. So you can
Nice.
actually, it's built into Miva's platform that you could automatically enable the Amazon checkout. So that way there's more like people trust, more trust
Options.
in, these third party store or a independent store off of Amazon. So we're covering a lot of these tactics and different things that you could do outside of Amazon. Let's also cover a little bit about now that you've, let's say, built up this D2C a little bit, you now have all these emails. How important or critical is it for the email marketing campaigns to start kicking in now that you have your customer data?
Yeah. So, I mean, emails at the end of the day are the blood of your brand if you're operating inside of Amazon. So, because that's going to effectively allow you to keep engaging with the customer beyond the purchase or before the purchase, and therefore ensure that the interaction with your brand is healthy enough to ensure that they keep coming back, they buy an upsell, they buy an accessory, they recommend the product to their friends, all that kind of things, right? So I'm going to give you a couple examples how we use email. The first thing is email can be used for people that come to your website. They essentially register for a discount and they don't engage with a transaction. That's why you can be very clever. You can follow with more promotions, unique 50% off, unique kind of giveaway, unique buy this one, get this for free. And a lot of times you save a lot of revenue with that kind of strategy. Let's say somebody goes to the checkout and they don't complete the checkout. That's another strategy right there that will create a unique funnel structure. That means if they are at the checkout and they didn't complete the checkout, we send an email say we are going to give you a 25% value for the next 25 minutes to conclude your checkout, and that creates urgency, and therefore they already went through the decision making wanting to buy the product. Something happened around the checkout that they felt uncertain or they found another deal out there, by straight away you automate re-engaging with a click to action call to action with an urgency, in this case a limited coupon that's going to expire, that's very helpful to convert them. And another third example, just to conclude the idea here, let's say you have people that has bought from you, and now you just launch a new flavor. Let's say you're doing supplements, and you had only the strawberry flavor, and you launch now the watermelon flavor, and if essentially have all this inventory sitting now, but nobody pretty much knows that you launched the watermelon flavor, you can use email marketing as easy as saying, oh, we just launched this new flavor because you are a loyal customer, we're going to give you exclusive 20% so you can try a new flavor. These are just one of the very quick examples I can bring to you, and there are hundreds. Like with email, you can be so clever. Like I have seen some of our clients, even ourselves, doing some of strategies that are like very scary, to the point that depending on what kind of click or speed you spend essentially in terms of interaction with the website, it completely changes the funnel re-engaging through our email. So you can go very deep, very clear with this, and that's where really the money is. If you're really able to personalize engagement through email, depending on how to interact with you and their history with you. But yes, it's super powerful. Like that's really what most of the time when people buy a brand from you, they're looking for. They're looking for a healthy email list with a high opening rate, high engagement, and at the same time that most of these people are people that keep coming back and buying from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Running newsletters, as long as I did, running my own website, D2C, I always found that first week of the month was so good. And then within that, the first 24 hours of sending out that offer got the most. Actually, it was the first 4, and then the first 24 was the second best. So there's a couple tips for you. Make that coupon good for, 1 day or 24 hours or even less, type of thing. Maybe you have one coupon for, hey, if you order in the next 4 hours versus the next 24 hours, maybe it's not as good of a savings, but definitely use that email list. That's what part of the reason of building that D2C out there is to get those email lists, be able to, go back to the people that are maybe interested in, like you said, I think you said a different color or different flavor or whatever it was. Maybe that's what they're interested in. And then try bundling too. Bundling is always a great option too. It's like, you bought this, buy this together. I made it very clear to everybody. I sold iPhone parts back in the day and was a big seller. We would always upsell or bundle, here's a screen protector, here's tools that go with it. That's always a huge thing. And, you're going to find really quickly your margins off of Amazon are going to be huge compared to on Amazon with the amount of fees they're charging.
Yes.
But Vincenzo, let's talk a little bit about, kind of juggling both selling on Amazon and selling outside Amazon, right? Like a multi-channel sales. How can people handle that? Like, is it something like if I sell outside of Amazon on my D2C, I can still fulfill it from Amazon, or what kind of tips do you have on that?
Yeah, so that's the beauty of what Amazon has done, which I also think is very good for those looking to expand outside of Amazon. Now they have programs such as Buy with Prime that you can integrate with your website. That means similar with what you can achieve with Miva. You can integrate Buy with Prime, and now when they're doing the checkout to your website, now they can have the same experience of Prime delivery. They have the same experience of checkout, credit card, getting all the information from Amazon, but they don't have the friction of a website, and they have the recognition of Amazon. So that's very good. The second thing is that they have essentially also the network, which is the multi-channel fulfillment network that they have essentially deployed. So now you can pretty much fulfill any kind of website or marketplace from your Amazon pool of inventory, AWD. Why this is very cool? Because now, especially in the past, a lot of the friction of selling on Amazon was like, oh, but if I prioritize Amazon, then I don't have enough inventory for my website. I don't have enough inventory for eBay. I don't have enough inventory for a Walmart, regardless, right? And now, because Amazon has allowed you to centralize everything under the same roof, they're telling you you can sell on Amazon. On top of that, you can put all your inventory with me. On top of that, I can fulfill all your orders from here. And at the same time, yes, go outside of Amazon 100%. And at the same time, we allow you to make it as frictionless as possible integrations, so just Buy with Prime. So the reason why Amazon is doing that, this has all a strategy at the end of the day. The reason why they have done that is because they know long term people are looking to get outside of Amazon because there's political reasons, fees related issues, competition. So what Amazon is thinking in advance is, rather than only focusing on the marketplace itself, let me build the infrastructure to support people to expand outside of Amazon. But using Amazon infrastructure. So that means even if you go and build your presence in D2C, TikTok, and all of that, in still I make money because you're using my infrastructure for shipping, you're using my infrastructure for integrating with my own APIs. And yes, on paper, you're having control of your brand everything outside of Amazon, but realistically, the logistics, which is at the end of the day why you need to run a brand, is going to be still dependent on Amazon, a kind of a umbrella company, and that's where they know, like they're essentially trying to camouflage their way of how they keep making money out of it, right? But I guess to come to a conclusion here is that yes, 100% leverage Amazon ecosystem when it comes to that, because I have compared the rates. I have compared rate shipping myself using sometimes a 3PL or my own warehouse, and at the end of the day, the Amazon rates in most cases, if the volume is not big, it's very competitive and allows you to remove the headache of having to move inventory around to figure out. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Vincenzo, I want people to understand, e-commerce and what you guys do, because not only do you, let's say, help Miva clients transition over to selling on Amazon, but you could also help Amazon sellers transition to D2C. Why don't you
Yeah.
cover a little bit about what e-commerce does and how they help in that area?
Yeah, so I will say to start with the first one, like for all those D2C brands out there that are listening, watching this podcast, definitely consider Amazon. I know that most likely you're having a very successful journey on your own site, and that's something that 100% thing, kudos to you and congrats, because it's so hard to achieve that. But I would say don't take for granted the fact that Amazon is still a powerful channel. Like I see that mistake actually happening for a lot of D2C brands. They get super confident with the fact that they don't need Amazon, and then I see competition jumping on Amazon when they're not. And in the short term, they think that was the right decision, but then competition, what it's doing is getting the cash flow and traffic of Amazon that you're not taking because you're not there with your keywords and brand insertion. They start stealing the traffic, they start creating loyalty, and over time, what people is gonna do, they're gonna try this other brand, and on top of that, the cash flow that your competition is doing on Amazon, which you're not, they're gonna use it to run more Facebook ads, more Instagram ads, more Google ads, and that's also effectively it's gonna negatively affect your performance in your D2C side. So as you can see, this is a long-term effect that you might not see now, but it's definitely coming. So definitely, if you're successful outside of Amazon, go on Amazon. And if sometimes your concept of brands are, yes, I don't want to have all my products on Amazon because some of them don't actually reflect what my brand is. There's very clever strategies that you can do around this. Like for example, we have a brand that is very premium. We're talking the average ticket in terms of sales, it's around $500. So that's usually not what people will go for on Amazon. But what we did is we came up with a product that was around $50 to $100, which was like an introductional product to the brand. It's like a starter kit, something that's very affordable and it's like for the masses. But what we found is that now what we did with that product that you can only buy on Amazon, that's a lead magnet. People try the brand, they see actually the value, and then they're willing to go to the website to buy the more premium and exclusive product that they can only buy on the website. So that's where I mean, like you can do Amazon from that perspective, that not only it can be as a distributor channel, but it could also be a way for you to captivate unique leads that you can then upsell on your website. So that's the first side of the conversation. And to conclude on the D2C, yes, a lot of our focus beyond Amazon is also how we make sure we support brands in D2C. So that comes from the perspective, especially on the area of social commerce. So anything that's to do with social media, specifically like TikTok show, we're very big on that. We see very good results, like how we make sure, for example, we run strategic campaigns on TikTok to then drive traffic to your Miva side, right? In the sense that we create that awareness campaign, unique promotions, and then we get all the traffic to your site and you convert them there. That's also something we can help you with our experts that effectively know how to effectively filter down the best influencers and the best campaigns in terms of exposure to our content to maximize that warming up those potential leads on these platforms such as TikTok to then drive that traffic to your D2C. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And Vincenzo, if people are interested in reaching out, whether they're on Amazon or on Miva and want to go to the other platform, how do they get a hold of you?
Sure. So you can find me as Vincenzo Toscano in LinkedIn or any social media, or you go to our website, ecomcy.com, or just send me an email at business@ecomcy.com. We're more than happy to jump on a call, understand your business more depth, and see how we can add value to you. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those that are listening, let me spell Ecomcy for you. So it's ECOMCY.com. And then if you want to email, it's business, which you all know how to spell, at ecomcy.com. And once again, you can look up Vincenzo on any of social media. Toscano, Toscano. Vincenzo is awesome. Always great seeing him. I love hanging out with them. Always full of information too. So yeah, thank you, Vincenzo, for being on. I really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see everybody on the next episode, and be sure to go check out Ecomcy. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks
Pleasure.
for tuning in to E-commerce Revamped. Ready to take your e-commerce business to the next level? Visit Miva.com for the tools to build seamless online stores and unforgettable customer experiences. Until next time, keep your cards full and your customers happy.